Alles gut? Ja? Oder? Okay. So, ich kann natürlich Deutsch sprechen, aber mein Englisch ist deutlich besser. Und ich möchte gern, wenn es okay mit Sie, auf Englisch sprechen oder Französisch. Okay. So I want to say a big thank you to actually JavaLand and the Java community to have invited me here today because it's a huge privilege, and we have very little time sometimes in life, and life can be very short. I don't want to give you a lecture about what life is, but investing time in here for me with you, it's a real privilege, and I want to thank you for it, and also all of you. So a big thank you. I, I sincerely mean it, and I'm here because, and I've been successful in my career up to now, because of people like yourself. I link with you, I listen to all of you. I'm genuinely trying my best every day to be a good servant leader. There's servant in there. That is not simple, because you are a bunch of people who are extremely clever, sometimes very, very clever. I'm not too bad as well. And you also, yeah, it's true. And also you are not that simple sometimes. You have very good ideas, and some of the time you need to speak about them. And sometimes they are not very clear. And sometimes we have to discuss it, listen, and then together find a solution on how we can actually use your ideas and amend them to improve the lives of people. And that's what I do. And I'm very, very, very happy and very proud about that. To be a servant leader. I could go and give you a big introduction about the REWE Group, but if that's okay with you, I will just give a few personal words, and then I will go into some details. Is that okay? Yes? Good. Thank you. So what I want to say is that, I had in my life, I have had the privilege to do 3 relatively large and, I hope, successful digitalization of relatively large businesses. And when I had invitations here, I just thought, okay, and we've done in here with the teams. What have we done together? Yes, you could go into numbers, and we've done work with over 5,000 developers in my life. We have built businesses where we have about 12.5 billion euros of revenues. They are profitable now, which is quite a big thing. And all of that is very important. And then I had a call when I finished my 3rd big digitalization project. I had a call when I was sitting in a small office. I don't have big offices. My doors are removed from my office. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? And I thought, you're getting to 50, maybe you should go and retire, enjoy life. And that's also quite a good thing to do. And then I had this phone call from somebody in Germany, and I don't speak German at the time. I had no German, and I thought, what is this? And then they said to me, yeah, we want to speak to you. We have a big thing to do in Germany, and we are the REWE Group. And I thought, REWE, who is this? We sell food. I said, that's interesting, because I love food, and wine. And, and then they said to me, we have a bit of a problem. We would like to discuss it with you. And then I thought something quite personal, and I thought, life is quite short. We spend here the next 37 minutes together. Life is quite short. Do I really want to do something and do one of those digital transformation? After a year and a half, they will see this is maybe very difficult or more difficult than I expected. They don't have the ambition anymore. Do I really want to do this? And this is my key point for all of us and all of you. Never, ever compromise. I do not compromise at all. When we do something, we do it completely. And we bring it to life. And when it is life, it has to grow. And when it grows, it needs to be, as you said, self-organized and live by itself. It's a very big and very difficult thing to do. And I do not make compromise on that. And I'm very privileged because I don't have to do anything else in my life. So I could look after my children. No, I build these businesses and I don't make compromise. It doesn't mean I'm impossible to work with. Of course, I listen to people. Of course, I'm a servant leader. Of course, I work very closely with the shareholders. But I don't make any compromise. And I listen to all of you quite a lot. And you give me energy. You give me energy as developers, as DevOps people, as infrastructure people. You give me energy and the confidence that compromise are not required. We are here to live our dreams, and we are here to make history. You have one life, it's very short. Don't make compromises. I don't. I'm still there. You know, you're only as good as you think you are, and it's no arrogance, and you are pretty damn good. So that's my point. So I listened to all of this, and then they said to me, yeah, we really want to speak to you. So, okay, we go into a restaurant, because I quite like to eat. So, and I listened to everything, and they say, yeah, we have 52 billion revenues. I say, yes, okay, 52 billions could be problematic. You know, we have 330,000 employees. I say, this could be a bigger problem than I expected. We have 15,000 shops. I say, oh my God, shops, you know. How many more of those things do we need? Do people really understand what is the role of a shop? You know, is it a shop or is it a small warehouse? It's perfectly positioned to do, you know, a bit of trading with people living in, as you said, Nachbarschaft, in a neighborhood. We have 3 industries. I say, my God, this is complicated. You know, 45 billion in retail, in food. We have 7 billion in tourism, as I said. We have number 2 in tourism in Europe, and we do DIY. I say, oh my God, I've done DIY for 7 years in my life, and transforming these things is pretty damn hard, and there's no reasons why Amazon or others will not be successful. It's just hardware. You know, what do you need to do? Do you need to have DIY businesses or not? So it was quite a big challenge. And then, of all of it, which is quite interesting, they have almost, and we have, now I'm part of it since 4 years, we have almost 100 years history. And that is very interesting, 100 years history. Not many people and businesses survive 100 years. Not many. And then this photo here is in the middle there. It's like a car, but we are not a car, obviously. But it is something quite good. I mean, when you look at someone come from München, and you've got BMW over there, and you know, you look at it, and these cars are good, and we have a good business. Why should we change? Why should we cut our legs? What should we do? Cannibalize ourselves to actually change? Why should we do that? Everything works well. I just keep using the car, and it's okay. But you know, I decided that to join them. And why did I do that? Because we had a lot of very interesting discussions, and I will stop in a second about these personal things. So I went to meet all of the Vorstand, the executive directors, all of them. They interviewed me, but I interviewed them like hell. Then I met with the bank. Do we have the money or not? Because this is not cheap. Shoes don't do cheap stuff. Then, no, it's not worth it. You know, you love, but it's not worth it. What do you want to do? A shoestring, it will never work. So you can go and use a little free thing that costs nothing, and it will, with people who are cheap, it will not work. So, and then I also check, do they really want to do this in terms of, do they really understand what the problem is? And I was very happy because actually we used to have a chain of electronic chain called, what was it called? ProMarkt. Maybe you remember that, some of you. It's an electronic cutter, and it was killed. It was insolvent because Amazon just took everything, and we slept. And then we woke up one morning, and we look in our bedroom, and there was Jeff Bezos in our bed with her wife. You know, this is obviously it doesn't happen to me because no, but this is problematic. So and they have understood that, so have been hurt in their pride, and that helps a lot. So and then I went also to meet with our colleagues who looks after other colleagues, the work council, and they all understood that they really wanted to do this. So there we go. So we started. And they sent me the contract, and I refused to sign it. You know why? It was adapt to company culture. They sent me a contract with a nice title, etc., zeros, and the rest of it, which okay is good. But the problem was that there was company car policy, and I had to have a big car. I don't want a big car. If I want one from the company, I want one that drives over 300 kilometers per hour. It's not allowed, or I want a cheap one. I don't want this. And also company cars are a status. It brings hierarchy. And hierarchy brings superior people, inferior people, order takers. Like in restaurants, you've got somebody who takes the orders. I'm not an order taker. The teams, you are not order takers. You are very clever. So I say, I'm not coming. Sure. It was a shock. And then actually we changed the company car culture, company policy, and its mobility. And people get a budget, and if they want to buy a bicycle, they get a bicycle. If they don't want anything, they want to put into their pension, they put in their pension. It's their choice. I think we have to empower people with, they're very clever, to take their own decisions. So that was a big change. So, but it's symbolic, you know, and there's no hierarchy. I don't want a bloody garage to go and put my car in it. I don't need it. And so I got my Skoda. It's true. And I use a Passat or a Skoda. It's very good. I'm quite happy with it. And the rest I do what I want with. And I think it's a big, certainly in Germany, a big change. It's just a tip of the iceberg. Another thing is that we started in one of our head office, and normally I have to have like a, and it's not about me here, but it's about what you do as Chief Digital Officer. You do get like a certain title, then you have to have an office where you can't even get into it. You have to use your thumb on a thing, then put your eye into that thing, because I might be attacked or robbed. I don't know why. And I'm strong, I'll fight myself. Then you get into it, and then you get, what do you get? Oh yeah, a kitchen with a lounge, and then you have your own toilet, because obviously, you cannot share the smell with other people. This is, Then you get a room for your secretary. Then you get a room for you, what is that called? A referent. Oh yes, somebody who carries your bags, etc. And then you get your own office, which is the size of an apartment. And I just look at all of this, I don't want this. And so just put the wall down. I'm not allowed to do that, okay. So I said, with Robert, who was one of our first employees, I said, you know what, there are white boards in here, white walls. I quite like to draw on the white walls. And he said, no, it's not allowed. So I said, well, okay, I'll go and telephone somebody, and then they come with a massive whiteboard, about 3 meters, and then the lorry comes with these things, and it goes to reception, and then reception calls me to say there's this lorry with this big whiteboard, and that there's a lady in charge of all of our renovation in the buildings and transformation of buildings that is sending them away. It is not allowed. Yeah, don't make compromise. So I said to this lady, who the hell do you think you are? It is my whiteboard. So you call that man back. No, I will not call him back. I said, I took her phone, I called the man back, and I said, you come here, thank you. He was completely confused. And I said, Robert, come, and we carry the thing. So we carried the thing. This woman was getting absolutely crazy. And I said, we have a problem because we don't have our drill with us. So Robert went home, we put the drill, we put it on the wall, and I could start drawing. But my point is, adapt to company culture, don't make any compromise. Small things like that will kill you. And it's very important not to make those compromises, but also at the time to bring people with you. Because now this lady is actually a very good friend, because we needed to build our own building. We had to go and find a place. They had an architect from the group. He was so excited to come and do the designs for us. And the design for him, for working in a digital world, it was like JavaLand in my office. And I thought, my God, I cannot have JavaLand. I don't want JavaLand. It's not pragmatic. How are you going to go and draw on the walls? No, we don't draw on the walls. Okay. How are you going to go and have coffee machines where people can help themselves? How can you have places where people meet and discuss and things? No, you need to have your big office. So there is no big office, and they all know that. And we sit together, and that's what we do. And we've modernized everything, and now people come there. At the beginning, they thought, it's a zoo. We have to go and visit REWE Digital. There are different people, different environments, different ways of working. It's a massive shock. You know, it's a zoo. We're not a zoo. Today, everybody comes, everybody's welcome. We work together. Actually, they get very excited about it because they know they can free their mind, and actually they can work with very clever people, and we get shit done. And that is quite important. And that's why we put our teams first and our customers as a center. We still have work to do in there, I must say, but 90 years history, you can't do this overnight. It will take about 10 years to do all of this. We're into year 4 now, another 6-7 years to do this, and we'll be there. And when you don't put your teams and customers as a centers, what you end up with is a business that looks very bizarre. You go on an e-commerce website of a traditional business. It is nothing to do with what customers want. It's to do with what the organization is, how they're organized, and they ram it down your throat. You will have the Stationargeschäft, you will have the marketing person, you will have the person who does, I don't know what, the Kundenkarte, and everybody thinks that the more place they have on the website, the more success they have. Customers, they don't want that. They want something that works. And actually, customers, they want something here. So when to do, and you put your customer first, and you put your teams first, mobile first, it's very difficult because you have to prioritize. And the worst thing to do in life is to say yes to people because they have titles. You don't do that. You do not compromise. You say, this is a mobile, these are my customers, and we work together in mixed teams, in an agile way, in an iterative way, to make sure that we do the A/B testing and the multivariant testing to make sure that what we do is what customers expect. And that is quite difficult, obviously, because it's completely changing the mind of people who have been brought up, and they're not bad people, they're good people, who have been brought up in an environment where 20 years, every year, they try to have 2 or 3% more salaries, and then they will get this, they will get that, and then they will move from this Passat to this BMW, and then from this BMW to this Mercedes. I have no idea. And then, you have to do those changes. And we have to make decisions fast. Can you imagine? I'm only as good as you are, as my team is. They have to speak to me, not all the time, but we have to be accessible. I have to feel what's going on. You can hear it, you can feel it, you see it. If I were to go and stay in this massive office with all of these toilets and showers, etc., and doors and funny things where you can't get into it, etc., how can I be connected to the teams? How can they connect to me? How do I know actually what's going on? This is not possible. So we work in a very flat way, and we make decisions much faster. And sometimes, some decisions we have to do in a quorum, but we make decisions much faster. You don't have to wait months to do and make an appointment. We don't have to have appointments sometimes. Sometimes it's a coffee machine. And we make decisions. But everything is obviously registered. It's not a complete anarchy. And then you have to build new capabilities. We have to have very clever people, ambitious people, and people who can work in a team. So we're over 500 with almost all of the people. Almost all the people. It's becoming more difficult now because we're becoming quite big, and scaling is an issue when you actually grow a digital business. You have to also make sure that I have like 30 minutes with each of them before we sign the contract. And when I fail to do that, then we will have an hour and a half together to discuss things in a group. But to build these new capabilities, to have people like yourself, or data scientists, or specialists in processes, in lean thinking in processes and process management, they are very clever and they are very motivated, ambitious. And I have to make sure we provide them with the right environment. And I also have to make sure that they can work with colleagues who have been brought up in the analog world. And that they understand, they are patient sometimes, but they don't have to make compromises. And it takes a lot of time to do that. That is obvious, you know, I don't know why I've put this chart in here. Oh yes, so you can see that you have this world of music for you who remembers it's finished, it's gone. And then you've got iTunes, obviously, and Spotify is taking a bit of pressure of iTunes for the moment. So it's always moving. My point is always moving. And either you go and embrace these changes, or you just disappear. It's very simple. ProMark, I already explained. Goertz, there's these shoes, you know, I quite like shoes. Huh? And you can see that, that's not true, but you can see that this Goertz, for example, in Germany used to be very big. Zalando has taken a lot of it. And when you think about it, you had Karstadt, that was very big in Germany as well, suffered, gone into insolvency. It's just elephants that are not ready to embrace the changes. And it is hard, because you have to go and cannibalize yourself, change yourself. It is very hard. In the UK, in the foods business, because we're in the foods business in Germany as well, but in the UK, it's not our business, but it's somebody I know very well, and it's Morrison's. 10 billion pounds revenues, 12 billion euros. A history which is 70 years. And they never invested online or digital. So what have they got to do now? The worst thing ever, they compromised. They went in bed with a competition, which is Ocado, and they use all the technology, all the processes of Ocado. They have no know-how, but they feel good for the next 5-7 years. But I will sell their shares short in a few years because they will collapse. They have no capabilities. And the worst thing ever is that now they are giving all of their assortment to Amazon. So Amazon Fresh needs partners because they don't know how to look after chickens or after ice creams or salads, etc. They don't know how to do it, although they pretend, but they don't know how to do it. It's difficult. And they give all of their assortment to Amazon. And I'm not against Amazon, I have a lot of respect for them, but how can you not understand that you are being invited to your neighbors for a barbecue on their front lawn, you are eating sausages and steak, and you don't realize that it is the meat of the other neighbors. It is the other neighbors that you are eating. You are going to be there cannibals, you know, and you have to be careful about this. You have to be careful about this. And yes, Morrison's now has got compromise with Ocado, and the ultimate compromise to give all of your knowledge away to somebody who is going to eat you in the next few years. But okay, so we do things a little bit differently. Am I doing okay for time, Frieda? Oder? He's looking at his phone because it's so boring. Are we doing okay for time? Yes, okay, thank you. I just checked on him. And, you know, how do we do it? So we have to have business model, processes, culture, technology. We have this car, and we have to modernize it. I don't know if it's a modernized car, is a Formula One or not, but it is, you get the picture. So business model. So where you think about it is that what is a store? So we have 15,000 stores. Is a store a store? No, it's not a store. Well, yes, it is a store. No, it isn't a store. It's a 4 walls with a car park which is perfectly positioned. It's a mini warehouse in all of our neighborhoods. It's fantastic, so let's use it like that. And I can't go into too much detail for competitive reasons, but it is a different way. You have to look at it completely differently. Because, you know, our business model is to buy things from Unilever, from Procter & Gamble, from other suppliers, to put a little bit of gentle pressure to get rebates on volumes. And then we move the stuff into our own warehouses, or when we have better logistics, we go to their warehouse, and then we get another rebate. It's called factory gate pricing, and then we distribute it across 15,000 shops. And then when you are in the shops and you are customers, you come in, it's self-service, you have to drive, you have to find the shop, you have to drive there, you have to get into it. Nobody smiles at you. It is not in our shops, but it is obviously. But it is, yeah. But it is quite a linear business model. And you have to sort of help everybody to understand this is not linear, turn it on his head. It is multidimensional. So I have these mini warehouses. I need to go to customers because we're a self-service business. Now I'm going to become a service, which is a completely different approach. And I will go to customers. So I have to buy and build, I have to build new technologies. I have to build an online shop, but it is not an online shop. It's just another format. And I have to build my own mini warehouses, bigger ones, so I can do my picking. I have to go and bring efficiencies. I have to go and build all of my network, all of my physical network, all of my technologies myself. And I believe that when you do things well, and when you want to write history, you do things yourself. It's a bit extreme what I'm saying, but you get the gesture. No, you build your stuff yourself, and you build it as Lego blocks. And I'll talk about that later. Then you have mobile first. That costs a lot of time and money, lots of discussions, how to do this properly, and we still have to do a few things. You have to build your own content, because in internet content is king. And I don't really, there might be some colleagues from Google here, but I don't really want to pay things so I don't have to pay on SAR. It should be all natural with SEO that works, and it's all based on the quality of my content. So we built our own kitchens, we do our own stuff, but we have our own digital agency. It's not that I don't like external digital agencies, but I'd rather do it myself. So I have your own digital marketing agency, complete with DMP, data management platform. We do a programmatic buying. All of it, we do it ourselves. And you can see the progress, you can feel it, you can measure it, and because we are quite data-driven, etc. And so that's what we do. And omnichannel, obviously, is very important. I can only relate to customers. I want customers to look at REWE, and it doesn't matter if I buy online, if I go in the shops, if it's a drive concept, a Apple service, or a package shop. It doesn't really matter. For me, what matters is that they see one face, we understand them, we use our big data network, we build infrastructure, and they get a personalized service in real time. It will take time to get there, but we are on our way. And those processes that we have to change are very important for me. So, when I said to you, this is a linear process where I have the suppliers here, put a bit of pressure, gentle, then you go into warehouse, etc., and then you distribute it. You have to think about it completely differently. Yeah, one part of it is like this. Another part, we go to the home of customers. Another part, we will have to work with partners, merchants, with farmers to make it local, etc. And I have to build that fabric, and that is multidimensional, not just one linear process. And it's various processes. Like you have to think like a Rubik's cube in terms of processes. And that is quite important. And for me, it's also important that people understand, for example, that the normal supply chain, which I give you here, which is very linear, is the new ways, the things which are very important. Is that when we invest, how many more stores can you have? 15,000. Can you have 30,000? You cannot. We are limited. You can't have a shop in every corner. It's not possible. So it's not possible. Physically, it's not possible. So where do I invest my capital? My capital needs to be invested in technology. Oh, yes, but the technology people, I cannot rely on them. No, of course you can, because we do deliver. But my point in here, and I have to be careful not to lose my chain of thoughts, but my point in here is that the new supply chain is called, for me, DevOps, for example. I push on a button, it all works. And I can go and put new products or new features or test them, or big one or small one, live. I don't want to wait 2 weeks. I don't want to wait 30 minutes. I want to wait. If I have to wait, okay, I will wait 2 or 3 minutes. And it's live. And it works. And I don't want a big, cumbersome test at the end. Because that means that I don't trust you. So DevOps is very important. That is, for me, the new supply chain of retail. And it is something that we invest quite a bit of time, and people start to understand it. Then the culture, I've already talked at length about that, and I'll show a video in a minute about what it means really. On the technology, this is where you expect me to give you very detailed explanations of what you do. I won't do that. We have a stand where you can speak to us. Not because I don't understand it. I pretend I do understand some of it. But, I at the end of the day, we are all children, or we were children. Some of us have children, or will have children. And we all think like children at the end of the day. You showed this video before, and they are simple. They tell you the truth. They don't make things complicated. And I think the Legos and every single process or unit of process, being search, being payments, being side landing, or these words that are not very nice, but the order management system, we think about it like Lego blocks. But what I don't want to do, where it's very hard, I don't want to mix Lego blocks with mechanos, with sort of wooden toys, etc., because it doesn't quite work. So we think in terms of Lego blocks, and somebody found a sexy name for it, and they call it microservices. Okay? And they're very good. And we can actually build a house. We can build a small one, a big one. I can build a boat. I can build everything I want with this stuff. And our teams are organized in squads, which are mixed between business guys, if you want to really make a difference, or product owners, and testers, developers, and we work together to build each of those Lego blocks, and we can scale and test things relatively quickly. And you can take one Lego block out and replace it when DevOps, etc., works quite well, and the architecture as well. And we use a lot of APIs, because you can actually go and have some adaptation and work quite well with other technologies, because you cannot just be totally religious about everything. And so that works quite well. And big data, we talked about, what that is. But, for me, it's also, we had a bit of a discussion with the guys who were looking after the CRM systems or the till systems, and they said to me, we need more boxes. It was not my guys, but it was other guys, whatever. And they say, more boxes, to do what? Oh yes, we need to invest a few millions on that, because, and I'm not against IBM, that's not my point, because, that is their system, that's the way we've done it historically. And I thought, oh God, I don't really want this. So no, so we just built everything containerized, Dockerized, we put everything on the cloud, we put a Kafka queue, we did everything that needed to be done, and we solved one of the biggest problems of customers, which is what is called out of stock. So, and out of stock is you buy something, 50 items in a basket, 3 temperature zones, it goes to your home, and I can tell you, when you deliver the wrong size of nappies to the mum who's got 2 or 3 children, and they're either too small or they are too big and it leaks everywhere, there you have a big problem. You have a big problem. So we thought about it, and we use big data to actually go and hook all of our system from supply chain, suppliers, and everywhere, and we know exactly where it is, where the goods are, is true. And then when you buy something in real time, you actually get a message saying, you want your delivery, we're Tuesday for Thursday, for example, and I might have a problem with the Pampers size 3 to 4 years old. But I have other things for you, or you can go in a local shop to buy them. I'm very sorry about it. But you give the choice to customers. And these ideas didn't come from me, they came from the teams. And they built that stuff very quickly. And it's very successful now. And it helps customers. And that is a very important thing for us. Very important things. So on the technology, yes, we are microservice based. We use a cloud. It was also, data centers. How many bloody data centers do you need to have in-house? Also a big discussion. Oh yeah, we invest X millions into these data centers. We must use it. I don't want to use it. You must use it. I don't want to use it. I don't make compromise on these things. There is something called a cloud, and I can work with distributed teams across Europe. Yes, some core data I will put into Fort Knox, into the data center, which is very, very sensitive data. But the rest, we actually use a cloud, and actually it is a bit more safe than you thought, because if you use a few clever guys, you can hack into the data centers and show where the problems are. Whereas if you use the same guys and you ask them to go and try to hack into the cloud, it will take them a while. So we're very cloud-based, and we're migrating everything as we speak. And we use agile ways of working. But for me, agile, and I'll accelerate here, agile is not a religion. Agile is actually a very successful way to be doing things a very lean way, where you empower your people. And what I'm looking at is, it doesn't mean it's complete. People get scared with it. They say, oh, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be the full anarchy. How can I dare? How can I trust you that you will come with the right ideas for my business, with product owners, with a plans release track? How can I scale that thing? It's scary. When you come from an organization where everything is top down, agile is very scary. But what we do is that, and what I do is that we use it to actually automate a lot of stuff, to give clarity to people, and to empower those teams. And it is a very, very organized and structured way of working, to be completely honest, when you look at it in details. And it's a very lean way of working. And that's what we love. Okay, so, to make history takes time. It's hard to work. And I remember when we started, we were 13 people. 6 or 7 were from the call centers. Were also very important. And now we are well over 500. And it will take another 7 to 10 years to do all of this and finish it completely. Because changing the life of and the ways of working of 330,000 employees, plus also serving in different way, 27 million customers per week, takes time. And we do take the time to do it. And that is very important, to have your vision, adapt it, but don't make compromise on this. And I'm ending up here. I would like to thank all of you, because we only have one life, for the last 40 minutes. If you have questions, perhaps we can do that later on at the booth. I'll stay accessible and remain accessible, and also the teams. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have, as long as you stay polite. That's it. Thank you.